will make it easier for you to move. So when I do the drum roll like that, I want you guys to move with whatever bad rhythm I put out, okay? Makes it so much easier. The third thing what each one of you is experiencing right now is that we are doing it together. So that togetherness spirit makes it even easier. This is how wars are won. This is how marches are done in the army, in the other cadets, corps, etc. This is how we can win a war. And the war against you is an approaching timeline of the end of life. And you can push it away. You can push it away if you try. But if you think that sitting out there and not trying to push that away and bring in good health to you is going to push that away, my pills aren't going to do it. No matter what pills you are taking, I was just explaining a study today somewhere else that those people who are fit have a 70% less chance of death compared to those who are not. We do not have a medicine that can give you this information or this benefit. So try and become somebody who is fit. And I'm going to teach you how easily you can do it. Because, Dr. Gupta joined the practice. He just finished his training out. You can introduce yourself, Doc.
Dr. Gupta, I went to Aventura Hospital in Aventura, Florida, small city next to Miami. I trained in internal medicine. And originally from the Tampa area.
And next week he's going to take his board exams, for the first time.
Yep.
And I have no doubt that he will do great. I personally did amazing at them. I was judged to be amongst the top 10% of the country when I took my boards. And hopefully all of you have physicians of a quality that you are going to be proud of and say, what are your scores? Because to you, in medicine we say, what do you call the guy who graduated last in medical school in a class? You know what you call them?
Doctor.
You call them doctor. You call them doctor. That's all you know. We see a bunch of patients where we try and modify medications, hopefully for better, because we try and practice information and data and science-based medicine along with a holistic approach. Because there is good in every system. It is just that you have to reach out and pick out and not put blinders on to other systems. So please take a seat as I proceed with the talk. So being seniors is a mindset. I want you to not be seniors. I want you to be silly. I want you to have laughing all the time. I want you to have jokes all the time. Well, a young lady over here was taking orders. I thought it was for drinks or something. Yes. I said, what is somebody who's speaking Spanish taking orders for?
She said drinks.
I said, take my drinks. By the way, I speak Spanish as well, so I do identify with multiple populations in a very pleasant and unifying way. So your mindset will make a big difference. People who have a positive attitude towards aging, say, I'm a lucky guy that I'm aging, will live 7.5 years more than those who keep crying and getting older. I don't like this. I don't like my face like this. I don't like my skin like this. Do something about it. Go enjoy it. There is so much fun out there. Remain the child that's inside you. Make sure nothing buries it. Because that child is what is going to keep you alive and happy. Of course, the topic is really vast, but it is very simple to cover. Dr. Gupta, as I was telling you before, he joined the practice and he noticed that we had these 2 dumbbells on my desk in my office. So what do? Between patients, we go, hey doc, let's do it.
Yeah.
What we usually do.
We'll talk about a patient, or we'll talk about who's next, or what we've learned, and we're just
1,
flexing our
2,
arms.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm older than him, but I've eaten.
Oh yeah. He's been doing this longer than I.
What's the weight?
This is 15 pounds. So what is the ideal weight that you should lift? So for each person, it is different. What we do is we count the number of repetitions of that motion you can do with that muscle. And that number should be between 8 and 13. If it is less than 8 that you can easily perform, that you can perform easily, you need to reduce your weight so that you can do somewhere between 8 and 13. If it is more than 13 that you can easily perform, you need to raise that weight. So that's how we decide who is at what level. Each one of us has to individualize it, and that is what we try and help people understand. So when, for instance, we are rehabilitating people after a stroke, we know that this is the capacity. We want them to be able to do at least 8 of these activities that we are involving them in. So choose your weight accordingly and say, hey, go to a store, pick up, or go to the gym over here if they have weights. Start with the low weight. If you can do more than 13, raise the number. So these, what we do is, are called little snacks of exercise. So we don't need to spend an entire hour exercising. We can just do a little bit at a time whenever we find time. Between patients, for instance, for us. As soon as, if you're watching TV for the commercial, stand up and dance. So who here likes dancing? I love it. We have at least 8 people over here who like to dance. And who does dance? Who does dance over here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So an equal number of people dance. Dancing is an amazing exercise because it doesn't just make you fit physically. It actually has been shown to reverse dementia. It is an exercise that improves your thinking capacity. And why is that? When you start thinking about it, it is a very light exercise. How is it doing it? You may think it is light, but it is the music that is driving you. That you keep going and going and going. Because each song on average lasts about 5 minutes. So imagine dancing for 5 minutes. You continuously move for 5 minutes. And who sits down after one dance? Nobody. Unless you don't like your partner. Then, otherwise you keep going. And that's where I want you guys to be, dancing. Another thing that dancing is doing is that not only is it moving you, it is actually moving you in a pattern. So what is happening is that one of the neuronal circuits, the brain circuits in my mind, is being used again and again and again. So what does that do? It opens a small little channel and makes it into a big highway. That it becomes a reflex thing, and transmission in that pathway is at highway speed and not a small town road, country road speed. So your thought processing becomes better because the interconnection between the two halves of your brain are forming at a beautiful way. Then put on top of that some music. Now your ears are listening and they are connecting with your movement area and making you move because you want to move with each beat. So you have another 2 circuits from both ears going up there. Third thing, you look at somebody else dancing a little better and you say, maybe I can try that. Your visual circuits are improving. So in all, you have a beautiful exercise. There is another exercise that prevents dementia. Anybody besides you?
Yeah, I know.
Ping pong. Ping pong.
Ping pong.
Yes. Ping pong. You know that there is less dementia among Asians because that's a game in Asia. Ping pong. It has been shown to reverse the size of the brain. It makes your brains bigger. Gets regeneration going. Same with dancing. And that's what you want. You want that you will get activity that will be fun and will improve your body and your mind. And we know that all exercises improve our moods. So happiness is much better amongst those people who exercise. Look at this gentleman over here. He's smiling and telling me I use it twice a day. Say yes. That's my man. Go use, you have tools all around you. In Florida, we are surrounded by tools that are available to us for free. But I'm sure that many of us, even when I am much older, even at this stage, I don't like to enter a gym where I have all these bodybuilders walking around like that, and they look at me and say, oh, who's this? What's he doing here? What we did was that we created our own gym at the office, where we typically serve seniors only. And we have a trainer. Because every new machine that you encounter seems like a challenge. The trainer walks you through each machine until you're comfortable. Supervises you while you're doing it and screams at you if you don't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. But the encouragement of somebody out there being there for you as you exercise is wonderful. You meet other people who are like-minded and alike in age and are fitness-minded and want to improve. That encourages you even more. You start to make friends over there. Your social life improves. And we know for a fact that those people who are socially isolated are going to die faster than their peers. So a good social life has a linear, let's say if you smoke 1 pack a day, 2 packs a day, the 2 packs a day is almost very similar. Let's say when you smoke 1 pack a day, your mortality is worsening. You're worsening mortality, higher chance of death. 2 packs of cigarettes a day, it doesn't keep going like that. It flattens out a little bit. 3 packs a day, it flattens out a little bit more. But not with social isolation. With social isolation, it has continued to worsen. More isolated, more death. More isolated, more death. More isolated, more death. And more death. Therefore, to be in a gym where you will make friends, have introductions to other people, makes sense. You will start to have friends, and early in the morning, Dr. Gupta, when he comes here, he's seen a couple of our patients exiting the gym early in the morning at 8 o'clock because they're there before 8, some of them. And he was asking today, are you the only one there? He says, no. Patrick also shows up, Elena also shows up, and he knows these people. John also shows up, and here you are. You start to make connections. And those connections are wonderful. And I'd like to encourage those people who may have hearing loss to immediately have that corrected. We don't sell hearing aids, okay? So I have no agenda here. Why is that? Because hearing loss will lead to dementia because you will not have enough social interaction. So please have it addressed if you have it. We know that genetics play a role. We know that African Americans are way more muscular than other races. But that doesn't mean we cannot improve ourselves. We have what we have as our building block, and we must continue to improve. So a motivation should always be there that I will be better than myself than I was yesterday. And tomorrow I will be better than today. So if you start to keep this type of an attitude on your mind, you will actually enjoy things because you know there is a purpose and you're achieving goals. And you will achieve goals. We see people, when they come to our office, they can barely lift 2 pounds of weight. Gradually, we see them lift 10. We have a special machine where you can just lie down and it will exercise you. In those parts where if you otherwise exercise, you might hurt a joint. For instance, somebody with knee pain, and we want to strengthen this muscle. If we work the knee too much, the knee will hurt more. So you can just lay down and we can work your muscle like you've never worked out before. We did that for somebody yesterday, a young man who was classmates with him and happened to visit us at our office. We did that for him yesterday. There is a patient of mine who requests that service, and it's not one, multiple. But that one I know about because I personally know him. That he calls and says, I want that machine because my back hurts and it helps me out. And it's an amazing feeling to me as well as he succeeds because I succeed. So to have these specialized gyms that are centered around people who are health-minded but don't want to be in a commercial gym where they might feel a little odd is a great place to start. Once you build up, you might want to explore other places as well. But to start with, if you're uncomfortable going to one of those commercial gyms, we have something that you might enjoy. Of those people who lived till 100, the number one important thing was independence, that they could do all their activities of living by themselves at the age of 90. So I want you all to be able to do everything that you like doing all by yourself. Driving may not be one of those, but maybe cooking, cleaning, climbing upstairs, downstairs safely is very important. And as we help you walk and climb things and do things, one thing that we as physicians have to keep in mind is that we make sure your bones are strong enough. Your bones are not strong enough, and your muscles are not strong enough, and you fall, you break one hip, the chances of death among women are 20% of those women with a hip fracture will be dead within a year. 30% of men who have that hip fracture will be dead within a year. Why?
Yeah.
It's going to lay you down. As soon as you lay down for months on end, you will never be able to recover to your pre-fracture capacity. Never. So the best thing to do is to prevent that fall.
Mm-hmm.
How do you prevent that fall? Obviously, you make sure that you don't have any wires that you will trip over, irregular surfaces that you will trip over. Your vision should be nice and clear. Your muscle strength should be amazing. You must have practiced falling so that before you fall, you know how you can lower your body rather than fall as a whole. You must have enough strength in one leg to hold you up in case you are falling. So you must be able to lift yourself up with just one leg like that. So people who exercise like this, I tell them you are not doing adequate workout for preventing your fall. You must practice a fall. So I was telling Dr. Gupta as well how I advise people to practice a fall. I like them to be right next to a wall somewhere where they will fall, so that in case they cannot hold themselves up, the wall at least will not allow them to fall. They have something, secondary place to fall back upon. But the idea is to hold yourself up in this fall without touching that wall. Because that wall is not going to be there when you're falling. In real life, as it happens, there will be nothing up front, and you will only have the support of your leg. Or be able to go down to your arms along with it like that. So these are things that you must practice way before. Because practice truly makes perfect. You will be able to endure that fall way better than somebody who's never practiced it. Yes, ma'am.
I use the weight machine for my legs, push
Yes.
up and push down. I've done it all my life.
Beautiful.
And I'm wobbly now because
Okay.
I'm married, father, and this leg and so forth.
Yes.
I almost fall 15 times a day. I don't fall because I'm able to stop myself.
Amazing. You have the strength.
I know I need the strength.
Yes, you will. You will. But you also have to address why you are falling. Okay. Make sure that your brain is scanned. Make sure that your brain is scanned. Because there are some things that can go wrong over here without you even knowing. But please address it with your physician to make sure that your brain is scanned to see that there is something called normal pressure hydrocephalus. Okay, you don't even know, but the pressure is increasing. You might get mild headaches, a little blurred vision, some incontinence, and you might not notice that things are changing, but your balance becomes real bad. And of course, there's some vitamin deficiencies that can cause it. There are some other ailments that can cause it. Neuropathy can cause it. So we'd like to address it individually and not give just open advice. But there are multiple things that one should look at as one encounters a patient with falls. But coming back to the exercises, we will come to balancing exercises as well. And what are those? Because there are 4 types of exercises, and we'll come to it. We start to become weak after the age of 30, so it's very important. So we do have a gym. We do not get paid by any company. We're not selling you a product. We are selling you our services. Our services means our professional opinion, whatever insurance pays for. And for the gym, it doesn't pay us for it. But if we keep you healthier, we get paid better. We have been judged to be number 1 in prevention in the state of Florida. So our aim is to give you a type of service that can actually, you will see a difference. That First in state means a big deal. And to experience it, we're happy to have patients just come, meet with us, walk the campus. One of us will take you around, show you what services we have, how we make you physically better, emotionally better, cosmetically better, and overall, maybe alter your medicines just slightly so that you actually have the best that your insurances can afford. Yes, you have many resources around you that you should use. There are community parks. Walk on soft ground if it is level. Avoid the concrete whenever you can. And if you're on concrete, be at a spot that if you're falling, you'll be able to take yourself on a softer spot. Keep your eyes open, be aware of what you're doing. The YMCA is a great place to go to.
Mm-hmm.
But again, there are many people over there who are the bodybuilders and will not leave a machine for you. And you don't want that. You're sitting around on the side because the machine that you are capable of performing on has been occupied for a long time. And there is nothing else available. Nobody's there to teach you at that point, say, hey, let me take you here. So you're most welcome to come try our gym out and see how that suits you. A friend's pool, of course, over here you don't have to worry about it, but never have a pool in your life. Always have a good friend with a pool. Let him do the maintenance. We can all talk about quality of life, but with exercise, that's not what. That's a byproduct of the quality of life, because you really want quality of life. That every moment should be a pleasure. And you should have that. You have best of both is the way to have it in Florida. Because 9 months out of the year, you can be out there in the outdoors, enjoying God's gifts, enjoying nature, enjoying friends, just out there. Like the first thing that we did as soon as we started this talk was just get up and go. That is so important. To have that mindset that you're going to have and you're going to capture the best of both and don't become frail. Because that is what's going to prevent you from enjoying all that. About half the people above the age of 65 are going to be frail. Half. Frail means that if I push the person, he's going to fall. You don't want to be that. If I push you, I want you to be strong enough to come beat me. Not that you will, because that's a negative attitude. But just the other day in my office, there was an older lady and her daughter was behind her. The older lady fell simply because her daughter behind her, this happened yesterday or the day before? Yesterday. Just because the daughter lost her balance and leaned on mother and mother went down.
Wow.
So I don't want you to be those people. If somebody does push on you accidentally to help themselves, you should be able to bear it. You should have had the flexibility to be able to take that hit and go like that instead of topple over. So that's what I'd like each one of you to try and practice. Flexibility will come to that as well. Watching TV showed that 1 hour of watching TV could decrease your lifespan by 22 minutes. I think that's because on TV they're fighting all the time. Happy TV is what I'd like all of you to watch. Like you watch some comedy. When they say laughter is the best medicine, it truly is the best medicine after exercise. Risks are there for exercises. Yes, there are. So let's say somebody has hidden heart disease that has been untreated, and we put them into an exercise program, they might hurt themselves. If we put somebody with poor balance into an exercise program, they might hurt themselves. If we have somebody who has uncontrolled high blood pressure, then that can happen. That can be worsened. If we have somebody who's got joint pain here and there, and we say that's the type of exercise you do, you shouldn't be doing the types of exercises. So you definitely should talk to a physician if you have any limitations and say, how can you guide me, what exercises to do? There are multiple benefits of exercise. I talked about the physical, the emotional. We know that sexuality is an exercise. So all those of you who can participate in sexual activity, I would encourage that. We know that men who have orgasmic activity 3 times a week or more, I know it's a lot, but but they have a 50% less chance of dying. Maybe the wife dies sooner, but what I mean to say is that physical activity, emotional happiness, sexual happiness, enjoying each other is a beautiful part of our lives, and it translates into longevity. It translates into interconnected positivity. And that's what I'd like all of you to achieve. So what is the role of a doctor? Well, of course we keep you accountable. Accountable in the sense, gently ask you, what have you done today? Have you done any exercise yesterday? What have you done in the last week? And these are gentle reminders. These are things that you want to do, but you just have not done. So that's where somebody who reminds you and has a mindset like that comes into play. But in my office, I get my patients sometimes and I will teach them how to dance. For instance, I will teach them how to do salsa. Salsa has
I'll be
only...
right over. I have never mastered that.
Come on, Ian, you come front stage.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. See, come on. So how is salsa done? Salsa is just so simple.
I'm embarrassed.
I am not. Okay, so standing right there. Great. So there are only 3 steps to salsa. Okay, you first stand in a box and then you step out of the box. The foot that stays back in the box complains and stomps itself. Stomp. I want you to come right back. And it comes back. And that is salsa. I will show you how complex things that appear so complex are so simple. Because now that foot says, now it's my turn to leave. Goes back, out. So this one stomps, wants it to come back. So now, let's do salsa. 1, stomp, back. 2, stomp, back. 1, stomp, back. This is salsa.
Very uncoordinated.
No, you're doing amazing. You're doing way better than many of the patients I see in the office and they start. You're doing beautifully. So, then mixed into that comes the hip movements, and I will now show you how salsa is. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It is just so simple.
I don't think mine go that way.
No, they are moving.
I gave up.
Thank you. But truly, I think it is simplifying exercise and making it fun, which is what is going to make it feasible for everybody to do it. But otherwise, I never knew how to dance. I really didn't know how to dance. But once I broke it down, it was just so simple. So what has salsa done? Salsa makes me go forward as if I'm falling because my other foot has gone off the ground. And I'm going to hold myself with this leg and bring me back. I'm going to fall backwards and I'm going to bring me back. I'm going to fall sideways and I'm going to bring me back. I'm going to fall this sideways, bring me back. I'm going to fall crossways and bring me back. Crossways and bring me back. Crossways and bring me back. When you start looking at it, your balance has already improved. I advise people to do walks because it is one of the simplest exercises.
I have to go, so.
Please,
Sorry.
please. You have to go to the treadmill, correct?
I'm going to the gym.
What is Jim's last name? So, why waltz? Waltz is one of the best anti-gravity exercises, which means anti-fall exercises. What does it do? Our main anti-gravity muscles are right here, the quadriceps. How are we going to do waltz? Waltz, if you guys don't already know, is simply writing a U with your butt. Have you seen that? No? Okay. With your behind.
Okay.
Yes, Ben.
That's why it's so much fun.
So, what you do is you sidestep, you go down, you come here. All you've done is they've written a U, so I'm going to go down, side, and up. Down, side, and up. I've written a U with my bicep. Here it's going. Here it's going. Here it's going. And what is waltz? This is all it is. All I'm doing is, now stop looking at my butt. Look here, please.
I'm gonna enter you in Dancing with the Stars.
Do you do triple step sometimes if you have good balance?
You can.
I mean, that's what I did all my beginning, all my life, and now it's too hard.
Everything good is hard. Doesn't mean you're not going to go and approach it. You're going to do it. You know what President Kennedy said when we sent the spaceship into the moon, on the moon? He said, we're not doing this because it is easy. We are doing this because it is hard. So the moment you shy away from hard things, you will never get out of your comfort zone and never achieve anything. Sitting in one place, being in your comfort zone is easy. It is once you step out of it that you can raise yourself to a new level.
That's what I wanted to say is important to me. I have a friend that decides whether she's going or not. I don't make a decision. I just know I am, and I get up and I get ready.
That's it.
That's when I went to the live pool.
Okay. So now, educating what not to do for individual cases is important. That's where the physician comes and helps you. Now, managing hurdles that you will achieve, that you will face as you exercise. Let's say, doctor, I had a patient today who says my wrist is hurting. I've been exercising a lot. So I said, okay, let's take a look. Let's see how we can fix it. So all these are the roles of a decent doctor who will be involved in saying, okay, I am the one who made this person do this. I am responsible. So we talk about the 4 types of exercise: the endurance, the strength building, the balance, and flexibility. So our muscles start to shrink. Our aerobic endurance starts to shrink 1% every year after midlife. 1% a year. Exercise cuts that deterioration by half. Excessive exercise, a lot of exercise, aerobic exercise, cuts it down even to even more. So it is so important to do this. Strength, for instance, we do with the dumbbell. This is just strength building. Short spurts of exertion that is against resistance. Balance, we come to those exercises, and flexibility. We were just doing some flexibility exercises. They should be done after your endurance or strength building exercises. And for instance, you could just bend like that and don't do sudden movements. You know how people go like that, trying to stretch themselves? Don't do that. Don't suddenly push yourself down. You will displace a disc. We don't want that. We want gentle exercises that will stretch you to the degree where you can normally breathe. Some people go to such an extreme that they can't even take a breath out there. Don't want that. Don't want you to be in a position where you can't breathe because it is too much stretching. You want to be in a nice position, continue with normal breathing, and stay there for at least 10 seconds. But you do that after you've warmed up a little bit. Do some exercises and then you stretch the ligaments. So for endurance, brisk walking or jogging, brisk walking I say is excellent because that races your heart. So when you are just strolling around like this, it is not good enough. I want you to be, there we go. But you have to go to the hospital and see patients. Quickly. Ask this man. That must have been his pace at the hospital, one to the other to the other. In our office, we don't go to the hospitals. Because now, as the system has changed, most physicians in the hospital stay in the hospital, look after cases. Most physicians in the practices stay in the practices, take care of patients so that they don't have to go to the hospital. And that's the type of practice that we are, so that you don't have to go to the hospital. Swimming is great, and I heard you do swimming, you said. Yes, it's very nice. Rowing, of course, is one thing. Biking, I find biking personally fairly lonely. So I don't do it. Because you're on your bike, you're going, you have two friends with you, but they are behind you or ahead of you, and it is just not my kind of thing. It's not fun. Yes, I will enjoy the outdoors. I like looking at trees and plants and animals and stuff, but maybe for a week, then I don't want to do it. So what I like to do is, yes, would I like to go on a picturesque bike ride? Absolutely. Would I like to go riding by the beach? Yes, absolutely. But I don't have a house out there. I live in mainland and I want to, enjoy what's around me. So what's easily accessible to you and you enjoy is what you must get into in terms of exercise. Now I do go play tennis. I play tennis for 2 hours, 3 hours if I have to. I have a buddy there. We are laughing away. We don't play serious tennis because you should not become too competitive. You'll hurt yourself. Do it so that you enjoy it. And I do. I enjoy it because most of the time I'm winning. But what I do is I turn the music on over there as well. So that it is an environment. It is not just a game. It is truly a social time. We talk about things. And pickleball, which has become much more popular since real estate went up and they've started cutting tennis courts into half and say, now play pickleball.
What is pickleball?
They do it at the Y.
Pickleball is, have you seen ping pong bats?
Yes.
And have you seen a wiffle ball? Yes? The one that they play golf with that doesn't go too far, has holes in it. So it's a combination of these two. You play ping pong on a mini tennis court. That's what they do. With bigger, bats and bigger ball. But essentially it's like a mini tennis, ping pong blend. It can get intense. I went to a neighborhood that I had to give a talk in, and there were 3 people playing, and they needed a 4th partner. I made the mistake of watching them, and they invited me. And I, being much younger than them, said, okay, of course I'll join. And they beat the hell out of me.
I heard that's real popular in the nude.
In where?
In the nude.
Really?
In the nude?
Yeah. That's how they play in the villages. That's how they play in the villages.
Villages? Let's go. Let's change our
Yeah.
You've done us a very bad favor for Basketball, I think, is rather intense. I do play basketball with my son, who plays better than I do, but I enjoy it. I have a friend who visits me from Puerto Rico. Whenever he comes, we play basketball because he plays amazingly, and he's kind to me when we play.
The climbing stairs.
Now, one more thing is this mowing the grass is intense work, endurance, and build your capacity. Then we come to strength building, lifting weights, as we showed you right here, carrying groceries. As I carry grocery bags, I do some weights with them. As you're walking, why not? Those grocery bags are strong enough to hold, let's say a gallon of milk, half a gallon of milk, some vegetables, some other supplies. Work out. Because this is bland and boring. You must take advantage of every minute that you have some extra weight in you. Be gentle, but do something. Don't just be the porter who carries things from one place to another. Enjoy it. And you will enjoy it. Once you start doing it, you'll say, oh, I like this. Then you don't necessarily have to do it with your arms alone. As you walk, you go, So your legs now have some extra exercise.
You're gonna have an audience.
Yeah.
I don't care.
People will laugh.
Because you think they will care when you're dead or sick. Those people don't know you. And even if they know you, they might start following. Say, I understand what this lady's doing. If they're smart enough, they will understand. If they're not, they will say he's a weirdo. When I go with my son somewhere, or let's say we go on some trips or tours or somewhere, we have a guided tour, we're walking through a city, I don't just walk. My son feels a little odd, but now he started to follow me. As we are walking, I will do a different walk, and my walk is because my calf muscles are becoming stronger. So every activity is an opportunity for you to do a little bit more for your body, with your body. Have fun. And now my son also starts to do it. Because what he's realized is that by doing this, his basketball jump has improved. And why not? It's just these small, little, gradual steps that will improve you. And remember what I said to begin with? That you should think that today you will become better than what you were yesterday. And this is how your life becomes better and better. Lifting your body weight, like I was just doing, this with one leg. Lifting your body weight with one leg, with both legs. So try and do this kind of stuff. There are some resistant bands that can improve your strength. You could use those.
What is the wall push-ups?
Yeah, I'm hoping you
Oh,
show.
that's good.
Which means if the wall is falling down, you push it up. So instead of doing a push-up like this,
Yeah.
you will actually, because you may not be initially strong enough to raise your body like that, you will initially just do like this. That's a wall push-up. So you will start to at least bear 25% of that weight and gradually improve yourself. Yes, miss.
Before in the morning when I wake up and I do before my coffee in the sink, I grab because we don't have
The sink
yeah.
side, yes.
And I try to separate and start doing like push up, but with the thing.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Is that why there is a leak under her apartment?
No, there's only one leak, I think, wasn't there?
Amazing. Every bit, every extra bit, we will all come to our own little techniques of exercising. And that is what I want you to get in the mindset for. That you do not just sit still and do nothing. Because what will nothing do for you?
But it's free.
Nothing.
Yeah, worth nothing.
Flexibility, we talked about that a little bit. Slowly do it for 30 seconds, breathe normally to avoid bouncing into a stretch, and it's best after some activity. Balancing exercises. So there's Tai Chi, which improves your balance significantly. Tai Chi is also sometimes called the moving form of meditation, where you just, stretch your leg out like that, you move, and then you move your arms, so that your feet are now experiencing a change in your center of gravity, and you are continuing to hold yourself in a balanced position. So, and then you come back, and then you go again on the other side, so that this is fall prevention. People who do Tai Chi live longer, and I have a feeling that's because they avoid that fall. Besides having the social element of exercising, because Tai Chi is usually done in groups. People wake up in the morning, just a little after sunrise, get together. You have this beautiful yard over here. You could all get together and do a little bit of Tai Chi. Parallel bars are things there are bars like this. We have them in our gym. So the people with poor balance can keep their arms there and feel more comfortable as they close their eyes and walk forward. And then we ask them to walk backwards so that they can master the sense of balance without their eyes open. So that when they have their eyes open, the balance is even better. Then, very important is night-light walking. This is the time when many people will fall. Everybody has night lights, I guess, here. Everyone? Anyone who does not have night lights? Nobody. Anyone who has night lights that bother them from sleeping, from falling asleep? Anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I make sure.
I need to be dark.
And then little tiny ones.
So do you have a night light that comes on only when you step off the bed?
No, I don't have a night light, but I have all the little lights that come from all the electronics in my apartment, and I
man.
can't get rid of those.
Oh man, I'd love to hear the music in your apartment. So much equipment. Okay. Well, so whatever, you should have good visibility at night.
Yeah.
Because that is the time. And that blind walking that is there to help you as if the lights are out and you are walking. So that is where the parallel bars come in. And the night light walking is great. Closed eyes exercises. One leg sit-ups. So this, one leg. Lift your leg up. And just go down, down and up. Because we want that one leg to be able to hold you up. As the fall comes, falls will come to everybody. Accidents will happen. For those who move and are active, something or the other will trip you. Sometimes I look down and something struck me and I can't even figure out what it was on the floor, but I hit the floor. You know how that is? The floor is just so slightly uneven that it can grab you and slow you down. Shifting side to side, that exercise is so easy to do. Just like the generation I grew up with. They would go front and back too.
Yeah.
So I turn the music on. You know, music is so beautiful to allow you to keep going. Say I'll do 2 songs of exercise. Next day you do 3 songs worth of exercise. Balance, we were talking about, you stand on one foot and do the sit-up. Lifestyle. Anybody smokes over here? Nobody? For those who smoke, every 10 days that you smoke, your life becomes shorter by 3 days. And I'm not guessing, I'm not pulling this number out of my, hat. I am giving you information that is based on studies. Study was done in the United Kingdom because they have a socialized healthcare system. They can track everybody much more closely than we can over here, which is because our system is broken down into so many, Medicare, the HMOs, Blue Cross, United, all this kind of jazz, that they don't want to talk to each other because they think my information is better than yours. So we definitely, from them, we have learned that your life will become shorter. If you continue to smoke after the age of 40, your life will shorten by 3 days every 10 days that you smoke. So get rid of it. Now we as physicians can help you quit, because this we feel will help you improve your aerobic capacity and your exercise capacity. And we want that. Because that entire trail starts to, like I said, that interconnected benefit will come to you by just giving up one thing that is harming your body. The industry wants you. The cigarette industry doesn't want you to leave at all. It won't leave our children, our grandchildren alone. It'll eat up anything that it can. But it's up to us as the people to decide. Say, no, I'm not going to be part of this. This industry needs to die.
Excuse me and thank you.
So the cigarette industry truly needs to be dead. How can we kill it? By not buying a product. So we're not going to buy a product. I'm going to help my kids get off of it. I'm going to help my grandkids get off of it, because this is going to be one of the biggest things that will hinder their quality of life, their financial capability, because every month they're spending $200 on something that they don't need to. And that's the age where they want to capture these little kids. And many, actually, in the olden times, this was so common. A kid smoking out there in the corner of the street. So we must help our own people to get out of this. As physicians, if you take the help of a physician who knows how to maneuver, how to navigate the entire way, your chances of quitting go up by 400%. So involve a doctor. If you're smoking, involve a doctor. Exercise that grind your joints should be avoided. So let's say this is going to grind my joints with my entire weight. But if the weight is kept over here, and that's what I do as I sit, I just do the ankle weights, it will not grind my joints, it will spread my joints and they can move better without my cartilage being rubbed off. Lifting weights to protect your spine. So let's say if I'm lifting weights like this versus I isolate my spine like that and lift them like this. So this way my discs do not slip out of place because of the excess work that I'm putting on them. So diagram, exercises that accommodate. That's the gentleman who left for the gym, I guess. So lift weights, lay down if you're going to lift, and don't go crazy on the amount of weight you're lifting. Be comfortable, be nice to your body. You don't just have to build the muscle and sacrifice your joints. So preserve each and everything. Positive attitudes we talked about, sexual activity we talked about, preventing falls we talked about, nutrition. Our office, there was a county-wide weight loss challenge. Our office, the team that we helped participate in it, lost the most weight in the county. Our team lost anywhere between 20 to 25% more than the next best one. So anybody interested in losing weight, we have a very special program that costs so little for those people who are seniors that it is truly worth it to take advantage of. Because weight loss will help you reduce your medications, and thus the side effects of medications. Will reduce the chances and the severity of sleep apnea, and thus protect your heart, which otherwise will flip into bad rhythms like atrial fibrillation when your breathing is not taking place normally as you sleep. You will have to get on anticoagulants, blood thinners, then you'll bleed. And then we start to compare the risk of bleeding versus risk of falling versus risk of stroke prevention. And you are walking down a tunnel that is dark. You want to get rid of weight. Your same amount of strength, when you are asked less weight to be carried, can easily carry it. And you will enjoy carrying it. So I want you to be that person who enjoys carrying the amount of weight you have. I participated in that program for 1 week. I took one shot. So one shot a week, for instance, one of the medicines. I took one shot. Within that one shot, within that 1 week, I had lost 3 to 4 pounds. It was insane. And I didn't even try to. But all that it did was that it made food not a craving, but just a necessity. Okay, how much do I want to eat? I don't want to eat more than that. Eaten, done, out. Ate maybe 1/3 of a plate instead of a full plate. So life can be made easier if you meet with a physician who knows what they're doing and makes it affordable. Because there are all these tools out there, but if they're not affordable, they are the worst tools because you want them and you can't have them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please.
What about the nutrition for our age?
Vegetarianism is the best. Keep that in mind.
Pardon?
More vegetables you take, better off your life.
Yeah, but we can't eat that amount.
That amount means?
Of fruits and vegetables.
I didn't say fruits.
Vegetables.
I said vegetables.
Okay, vegetables.
Vegetables. Why not fruits? Because they are filled with
Sugar.
Yes. And the industry, the sugar industry for the longest kept the focus on salt. Don't eat too much salt.
Yeah.
Now we realize that if we eliminate salt, the only impact on your blood pressure is by 4 points. That's it. 4 points. What's the big deal? No big deal there. But if we eliminate sugar and eliminate 20 pounds, there is a 10-point weight loss, blood pressure drop. So weight loss is very important. Nutrition is another whole topic for what types of exercises you do, how to maintain your weight once it is ideal body weight. The typical thing if you do not have diabetes is 50-30-20. Okay, so can you remember 50-30-20? Easy transition, and it's all alphabetical. CFP, carbohydrate, fat, protein. This is alphabetical. 50-30-20, CFP. So if you want to look at the big picture, of course the small things are there that we do not want you to eat processed food. We don't want you to eat foods that are preserved. We want you to eat as much fresh diet that you can have, because we know that the Mediterranean diet, which is filled with fresh fruits, vegetables, eggs, milk, cheese, yogurt is really helpful for longevity.
I grew up with home ec, and then
With what, sir?
at 50, I went to college to be a diet tech. And all my life, it was fat, fat, fat. Okay, by the
Industry.
the study, yeah, by the industry. And finally, a few years ago, the sugar industry said they were lying and we were lying. It's sugar, not fat.
Right.
Not everybody knows that, but
Correct.
I've always had a focus on fat because of that.
You know, we all start to get educated. Sometimes, unfortunately, we've already formed our habits and it's difficult to break them. But if you don't even think about breaking them, you'll never break them. If you think about, frequently think about breaking those habits and find great alternative foods, you can do great. For instance, my wife recently gave up meat, chicken, fish, everything like that. Okay, she became a pure vegetarian. She had to find a new protein source. So where does it go? It goes to tofu, cheese, chickpeas, lentils. But there is enough out there. We as human beings, our dentition tells us that we were made to eat more vegetarian food than non-veg. We have transitioned for survival purposes into both, and then we are now at a stage where we all have a craving for non-vegetarian food. But trust me, if you have flavored vegetarian food, it tastes amazing. Caloric restriction, lesser you eat, better off or longer you will live. Okay. Laughter, of course, we want that there. We want vitamin D supplementation. We want to make sure that men have adequate amount of testosterone, because those who were deficient would improve their squat strength by 45%. 45%. Because their muscles were otherwise wasting. The muscles that were existent were not working as well. So this is important to men's health as well. Their moods were better. So summary, like I said, the only thing you can take home now with this is just stop being sedentary. Get up and dance. I know that and the last one over there is that do it for the fun of it. That's so important. You know how kids are out there playing, doing stuff. Be that kid again. Now that I have given this talk, tell you that these are the offices. One is on Mariner Boulevard. It is that bright, ugly, orange, yellow building on Mariner. I don't know how many of you have seen it. Right next to Springstead High. Port Richey, it is on Ridge Road. So if you have friends that you would like to try and experience health with a proper structured plan that is fun, Port Richey, and then we're just opening an office in Tampa. It's getting ready maybe Thursday, tomorrow. So I'm open to more questions if there are any, because I'm glad that you participated right in the middle of it and asked me some questions. Yes, please, my dancer. Come along, right here.
Have you read the book Forks Over Knives?
No.
No, it's vegetarian versus the meat thing. That's a good book.
Is it, and does it advocate for more vegetarian food?
Yes.
Oh, yes, it does. So, many celebrities, Tom Brady over here. Anybody heard of Tom Brady?
Yeah.
He's vegetarian. He's vegetarian, and at his age, he can perform way better than people 10 years younger than him. I'm not vegetarian. I'm not a vegetarian. But I wish I could be, but we all get tempted with different flavors, and I'll enjoy those flavors, so I'll carry on until I say, okay, I can walk away from this as well.
Yeah.
Anything else? Yes.
What do you think is the proper amount of calories we should consume on a daily basis?
Well, we
We just had a radio show today on your topic.
yes. And this Sunday at 9 o'clock in the morning, it's 99.9.
99.9. Yes.
We actually did a talk for 30 minutes about the entire weight loss program, about calories, about misinformation, about losing weight and what is considered overweight, and the types of things that contribute to losing weight in the first place, about the exercise. We mostly focus on the exercise today, but a big part of what we were talking about on the show was weight loss. was the nutritional aspect of it and the importance of that, and some of the medications that we offer at our office as well. So it's going to be dependent on you as an individual, which is why we always recommend, in addition to the exercise, you should have guidance from a doctor that evaluates your weight, your metabolic, energy,
And your goals.
needs, and your goals.
What do you want? Because every diet offers something different. You want longevity? I would say go to a Mediterranean diet. You want to count calories? You need to make sure that your weight remains steady with whatever diet you have. If you're at ideal body weight, if you're not at ideal body weight, and you want to raise your weight or lower your weight, then accordingly your caloric adjustment has to take place. But there's a very good thing that was found. That, there are people who go down to 400, 500 calories to lose weight. You don't need to do that. There was no difference between 400 calorie diet weight loss and 800 calorie diet weight loss. So, having said that, depending on your goal, we can guide you better. But if your goal is weight loss, anywhere between 800 and 1200 is what your target
Correct.
is a good target.
And that's sometimes not easy to do right away, which is why, just like with exercise, we work you to that point.
Are you an HMO?
Are we on an HMO?
Are you, yeah.
Yes, we do accept HMOs, and here Travis we have here who is from Ultimate, and we accept his coverage and many other coverages. Yes, we do.
I would like to say personally too, I am currently going through the weight loss program and I am already up to 35 pounds lost. So,
Oh, good.
So we have to do the work today.
Men lose fast.
And we hear this in our office really multiple times on a daily basis.